Hi, my name is T-Mango.
Hi, I'm Nathaniel, also known as Magic Fingers or the Milkman.
Hi, my name is Danimal. Hey, my name's Danimal. Hey, I'm Danimal.
And we're the RawBrahs. I guess an essential part of finding out who are the RawBrahs, you have to find out where we came from.
Who created us? His dad had sex with his mom.
27 years ago, my age. Who is also his mom and dad.
That's right. We are the real deal blood brothers, okay? A lot of people ask us, are we real brothers?
And we all three were C-section babies. That might mean no ayahuasca for us, according to Dr. Bizarre.
Alright, so to keep this thing moving, after we were born, Dan, you were the first one, right?
Yeah, so let's just jump to where the RawBrahs came from. T-Mango and I, we used to run a Costa Rica tourism business, basically. We would take kids for an alternative spring break in Costa Rica, more like, instead of just going to get wasted and forget everything that happened, more of an adventurous spring break, bungee jumping, surfing, whitewater rafting, and that kind of thing. So we were down in Costa Rica constantly researching and creating.
That's right. And even though our intention was that, like an adventure trip, the people still got wasted.
Yeah, still not the most sustainable thing for ourselves, because we're trying to run trip weekend after weekend and everyone's trying to go all out like they only have one weekend to live. And that's not the perfect atmosphere to be in if you're trying to do this long term.
And at this point, I was in high school.
You were in high school?
I was in high school at this point. I was like junior, senior
Just
year.
graduating high school?
Yeah.
I think I just graduated college and you just graduated high school.
Yeah.
I was probably about a freshman in high school, I think, at this time.
Yeah, because I'm 27.
I'm 24.
I'm about to turn 21.
And basically why we were doing this business was I had this question for us. What would we pay to do? If we had all the money in the world, what would we pay to do? And we thought, well, I would like to go to the best countries on earth and take my friends with us. So we try to figure out, next question is, how do you get paid to do what you would pay to do? We flip the script on that life question.
That's right. And even though this business venture offered a lot of invaluable experience of running trips for people and whatnot, it wasn't that financially lucrative, so we had to do something different.
During that time, I was in high school, and I wasn't really into traveling and being healthy and whatnot. I was more into swimming and becoming an Olympic athlete. So my dreams were to go to college and then go to the Olympics.
Yeah, that's right. And I remember when Nathaniel first got in the pool, like a week later, he's like beating everybody just after a week of swimming. And then a month later, all of a sudden, he's like the best in the county. And then he just got real good real fast. I was excited to see what was going to happen to this kid.
I actually wasn't even going to try out for my high school swim team because I didn't think I was good enough. And then Timothy told me, no, you're going to try out. And then I ended up setting the state record in my event. So that's a pretty cool story for any of you guys that don't think you're good enough.
And your name is still on that board.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Experiment.
That's right.
So, we're going to probably be jumping back and forth. We're just trying to cover who the RawBrahs are and where they came from in less than 10 minutes. So basically what happened was that after us kind of going back and forth to Costa Rica to run those trips that weren't the most financially lucrative, in between we tried to figure out jobs in the United States that we would pay to do. And that led us to becoming what we would call Craigslist connoisseurs. So I had this idea I could go, I mean, if anyone wants to take this idea now, go for it, because now I have the RawBrahs. But I was going to work in 50 states and 50 weeks and make $50,000. And that is possible if you are tapped in enough to all the mobile marketing companies and Craigslist and buying and selling things. This kid, I mean, we have endless amounts of stories of buying and selling, flipping cars, flipping bikes, flipping couches, going on the free section, loading up and selling the free stuff. Having like a garage sale, man, it was endless kind of, you wouldn't even believe the funky things we were doing.
Yeah. For one example, I found this person that was selling a pizza oven, right? And I told her I wanted to buy it. So then I found someone, I took a picture of her pizza oven, posted it on Craigslist, and got a buyer from North Carolina, because I know how to sell things better than that girl. And I had them meet up at their location, which I was there, the third party, and the guy gave me the money, gave her the money, let's get that out.
Oh, that's a good story if you would just tell the story correctly.
Basically, I told this lady I was going to buy her pizza oven from her. And so what did I do? I didn't want to buy a pizza oven. I took a picture and I knew how to market it. I knew how to sell it. So
why would you not buy a pizza oven?
Why would I not?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's just, I don't have any use for it. It's huge.
Hard to ship.
It's hard to ship. all these little factors that came into play. But anyway, what did I do? I put it on Craigslist myself. I took pictures of it and everything, and I found this buyer in North Carolina. And I said, okay, we're gonna make this happen. So what is it called? When I arranged a meeting with all three of us there.
Rendezvous point.
And by the way, she was selling the oven for $500. I was selling her oven for $1,500. So they met up, and the guy gave me the cash. I gave her her cut, and I was like, "Wow, there's some real potential behind
doing
doing stuff like
$1,000
this."
on that?
No, I think it was. I think it was 800.
Got the numbers mixed up a little.
Yeah. Anyway, I made a lot of money in just doing nothing.
That's one of endless stories. I mean, beyond flipping stuff on the sale and free section, what we were really getting into was mobile marketing tours, where, to paint a picture of that example, one of our jobs was to go around with a big red shoe around the United States, a big red shoe that would drive. We would walk around with stilettos on silver platters and these tight shirts that said lust-worthy labels at prices that'll make you swoon for Marshall's Mega Shoe Shop. And we would give women, our job was to flirt with women and give them game pieces, so they would redeem those game pieces and maybe win free shoes for life at Marshall's Mega Shoe Shop. And that was a 6-week tour. These jobs would pay $35 an hour. That one was for 6 weeks in a row, and they hired my best friends with me to do the job. Dream job, dream gig. Our bosses were actually our friends. So super laid back work environment, and we were picking up tour after tour like this. Whether it was for eMusic, the cheaper, cooler cousin of iTunes, or whether it was for, and what really the straw that broke the camel's back was when we did a 2-month tour for Little Debbie, and it was a Million Smile mission, and it was basically go around the United States, making 1 million people smile and building a mosaic in the form of Little Debbie's face, and it was, and we would drive an Airstream and a Mercedes box truck around, and we were collecting those pictures and just making people happy by giving them Little Debbie snacks. But right around this time was when we started getting into a healthier lifestyle. We're jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest story to follow with all three of us.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back even further real quick and tell a little story. When I was younger, that this might be inspirational for some of you. When I was younger, we grew up playing baseball, and we all played baseball all our lives until I was in a go-kart accident with my best friend that ended up flipping the go-kart on my arm and destroyed my arm, and I could no longer throw. The doctors told me I could never throw a ball again. So at the time, I thought that was one of the worst things that happened to me, but then it led me to swimming because it was the only thing I could do really that wasn't high impact on my elbow, and it turned out being one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. So that's a pretty cool story, I think, and I got a massive amount of money for suing my best friend for ruining my arm, but it wasn't suing him directly; it was suing his insurance company. And so that was even an extra bonus.
But you haven't received the money yet, have you?
No, but I start receiving it on my next birthday, which is exciting. Wow. So thanks for ruining my arm, best friend.
And to take a step back from that, while he was doing that, I was in college, going to Emory University. I graduated with a BS in biology, super challenging. I was only planning on becoming pre-pharmacy, but then I made all my good friends that were pre-med, and I was like 3 years in, and how would I quit my Emory college career or the third year to go become a pharmacist when I wasn't sure I wanted to do that. So I was like, I'll just do the most challenging thing I could think of, which is pre-med. So I got that done. I took the MCATs, did all of that stuff to become a doctor. But then I was like, I don't think I want to become. I'm not sure enough to invest more money in school to do something I'm not sure I want to do. It wasn't my passion. I love helping people, but it wasn't my passion to go the medical route. So while Nathaniel was going through medical problems and earning money from that, I was learning about the medical field and losing money because of it. That became the black hole in my bank account was college loans at Emory University. If anyone knows about Emory University, it's a private liberal arts college in Georgia, and it is expensive.
Yeah, and a very significant part of my life that we didn't touch base on was I didn't go to college. I was just like every other kid in the high school class. It was like, why do I even need to learn this stuff? Like, I don't need college. Like, I'm gonna go. But I really did. I thought those things to myself, and I really believed that I didn't necessarily need college. Not because I actually wanted to go to college for the experience. I really value that college experience that people have, but I didn't really think that the degree itself could serve me in my life. So I didn't go to college, and basically my senior year of high school, I ventured out on a few entrepreneurial jobs, such as like delivering firewood in Atlanta. I would connect the wholesaler, like the tree service people, to the people who wanted to burn firewood in their fireplace, and I made the money doing that. And PRV Escape, the travel company that we were kicking off, was starting at that time. So yeah.
And so Daniel went to college. Timothy didn't go to college. I was somewhere in the middle. So by the time, you know, my swimming career kicked off in high school, I won the state championship. I ended up getting a full ride to the University of Georgia. And I thought that was like my dream come true. You know, I was getting paid, or not paid, but a free ride to whatever. So I was in
Dogs!
I was in college.
Rosa!
As a freshman, I was in college and I was swimming, and 3 months in, I realized it was the absolute worst time I've ever had in my life. It was the first time I ever felt depressed. I was hearing voices and even had suicidal thoughts at one point. I've never had that issue, but that was happening. And so I dropped out of school. And everyone seemed to be against me. You know, my family even thought I was kind of crazy. And I thought I was kind of crazy. But I ended up doing it, and that's kind of what led me to the RawBrahs, is because once I dropped out of school, I started traveling. I was no longer in school. I just started doing what I wanted. And now I'm no longer suicidal.
As you can tell, the chronological timescale is skipping around, but we're trying to get the story out to you the best you can without doing a rehearsal. We're just going raw off the cuff.
Before we proceed, I remember when me and Daniel were traveling for a mobile marketing gig, and Nathaniel at this point was touring. He was on a recruiting trip to Berkeley University.
Oh, Berkeley.
And it was so strange when me and Daniel would just happen to be in Berkeley at the same time he was taking his recruiting trip to University of Berkeley. That we met up at Berkeley, and he was at this party with all these like Olympic swimmers, such as
Nathan Adrian,
and there our little brother is.
I played beer pong with Nathan Adrian, but I wasn't drinking
But
beer.
he didn't drink. I remember we walked into this party. and Nathaniel's there playing beer pong with this Olympic swimmer who's huge. And I don't know.
And then the first thing Nathaniel sees us, and it's not like, "Hey, what's up, guys? You're in Berkeley, guys." He's like, "Hey, I'm not drinking this alcohol here." He wanted to make that very clear to us and everyone at that party.
Yeah.
That's RawBrah right there.
Our little brother was becoming very big, very fast.
So, where were we? Oh yeah, so basically, let's transition to how the RawBrahs actually became what they were. We were, at this point, sometime before the Little Debbie tour, I think, when we were in Costa Rica, Nathaniel told us about this raw diet. We were there for like a month, and Nathaniel told us about this idea of only eating fruits and vegetables. We're like, hey, that's pretty much what we're doing already. So let's just go all 100%. So we did that for about a month. And we noticed drastic changes in our body that intrigued us enough to even look into it more and do more research and more studying.
Yeah.
And one time Nathaniel called us up, and he was on the phone, and he was like, "What's up, RawBrah?" Right? Is that how this goes?
Yeah.
Okay. So at that point, we took a note of that, like RawBrah. That's mobile market. At this point, we're thinking raw diets, and we're thinking marketing, and they were all coming together. And then later on, that kind of just sat there, kind of like we were letting that brew, and letting that brew. And then we finished. We were wrapping up this. Later on, we were wrapping this mobile marketing tour for Little Debbie. And at this point, we were pretty much eating an all raw vegan diet.
Absolutely. I remember we had even bought a blender from Walmart, and we were like going into our hotel rooms, like blending up like
Banana romaine,
like it was our job. We ate that stuff every night.
Yeah,
and we were like little rabbits.
And I finally made my way down to Costa Rica while they were doing this, and they were going through the losing all your fat and muscle stage. But at first, that can kind of look kind of healthy because you're getting really vascular and ripped, and I was like, wow, these guys look healthy. And, you know, they were super tan. So I think that was what kind of made us believe that the raw diet was working, because how drastically different you begin to look.
And all of a sudden, one night, I think I was just so calm. I was so calm that I held my breath for 4 minutes underwater, and I was just like, what is this raw vegan diet doing to me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still need to tap back into my breath holding skills, but
I'll never forget the first time you ever shot a video of us. Basically, we had been taking videos and pictures for this Little Debbie tour that we were doing all day, every day. And one night, we came back from our work, and we were doing a banana romaine smoothie. And Daniel was like, let me just videotape you. I don't know what we'll do with this, but let me just get on tape. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
So here I am in the bathroom of our hotel, blending up bananas and romaine, and Daniel's like asking me these questions.
Where
And
do you find that?
I was like so shy. I was like, why are you videotaping this, you know? and that one I've never even made it
Where
onto
do you
YouTube.
find that? Where is that? That's probably somewhere in the woodworks.
But I remember that being the first video of us announcing our...
Yeah. So, yeah, we were doing this, and like, for instance, we were on this tour with these people, that were not necessarily in top health conditions, and they're like really intrigued. They see us like passing out little Debbies, and like, what the heck you guys eat? All you eat is fruits and vegetables? Really? No, you don't want to drink beer with us? You don't want to drink coffee with us? Nothing. We were strict about this crap. I think. I mean, this might have been. I can't remember when the real strictness became when finally we decided we're like, let's quit this Little Debbie tour. We have to quit. We can't, there was just a big disconnect in what we believed in and what we were practicing and what we were promoting, which probably a lot of people have a hard time getting paid to do things they believe in.
Absolutely.
But we just took the leap of faith, and we took the courage to take that first step and like, quit, done. Let's promote something we believe in. And that's when we made that first banana romaine smoothie that you saw on YouTube. And that's when we started going 100% because all of a sudden we had a following of people that were depending on us to be the raw vegan saviors.
And not only did we believe in that, I knew it. I knew it was the truth for me with all my heart. And I knew it was the truth for you and everybody out there, that everybody should be eating this way. It was the truth. I knew it.
One of the first things that made me believe in the raw vegan diet is once I started, I was getting chest surgery. That's where that scar is from right there, which I almost died from. That was before college. I almost died from that.
That's a big moment.
And as I was recovering from this, I was on the 80-10-10 diet, all fruit, raw vegan, and I started running. My first mile, I was so out of shape because I was like dead for 3 months. My first mile was like 9 minutes, and then my second mile was like 7 minutes. And then the third mile I ran was the fastest mile I've ever run in my life, which was like 5:55. And I was like, wow, this raw vegan diet is a miracle. But the problem was I was just so light, I had no muscle or no fat on me, so of course you can run a mile real fast. But then my strength started diminishing, my competitive drive for swimming started going away, and then I lost all my testosterone and desire for girls.
Alright, so he skipped ahead a little bit, but we'll keep going back and forth. This might be impossible for us to do this all chronologically. So yeah, he like he said, just the same thing happened to us. For the first like 2 or 3 months, we were on fire about this. We were just eating so much fruit. I'm pretty sure we were pretty high on sugar.
Telling everybody that we could about this.
We were just zoned like bananas. Like we couldn't even sit still. And you kind of go down the videos and look at that. We were just like zapped out of our minds.
I couldn't have a conversation with someone without telling them what they should be eating.
It felt so nice to wake up in the morning with no swelling in my hands. I didn't have to drink any water. I was peeing all through the night. I was so hydrated. We started becoming connoisseurs of the best fruits on earth. We would start traveling around. One time we went to a bachelor party, one of my good friends. Now let's go back, we'll do that next. We ended up going to Jamaica and looking for the best fruits. We didn't have a plan of what we were doing there, so we met this family on the plane that owned a farm, and we went there and just ate their farm. They even invited us to a goat stew. They had a get together and they invited us to have some cooked breadfruit and goat stew, and we're like, no, we don't do that. And then, I think we felt deep in our soul and heart, we might not have talked about it explicitly, but we might have felt something weird about that. Like, here we were at these people's houses, and they were hosting us and being so loving and caring for us, and yet we couldn't eat the food they were eating. And I think that may have been the beginning, deep down, that might have started, the first seed that might have changed some things in us.
It's important to note how impactful this was on my life. All of a sudden, my whole desires in life changed. I wanted to start becoming a yogini. I wanted to start stretching. I didn't care about my hair look. I wanted to grow out. And my interest completely changed with my new diet and my new truth that I had found.
And it was a good point about Nathaniel saying losing interest in girls. Not only was I losing interest in girls, I didn't care what it looked like.
I didn't want to work out anymore.
I noticed that girls around me, when looking back on it, girls didn't pay me any attention. All of a sudden, for the first time in my life, I was like a little fairy. I might as well have been a girl around girls.
And there was a reason for that, because we got our testosterone levels tested, and they were equivalent to an average man in his 80s or 90s. So of course you're not going to be interested in girls.
I was actually subscribed testosterone, or steroids, some sort of steroids. The doctor was just kind of blown away by it.
But he didn't use it.
Yeah, I didn't use it. That's actually kind of probably the seed that got me so interested in tweaking hormones naturally to be the best person you can be. But we'll keep going back here. Eventually we started meeting people. It was almost like maybe a godsend or a synchronicity. We met Lupa, who told us, we were preaching to her about the raw vegan diet, and she looked at us like kind of funny, like, okay. And turns out she was a raw vegan for how long?
I think 10 or 15 years.
10 or 15
and then
years.
she's vegetarian for 20 years.
Okay, and she started telling us about the idea of what it did to her hormones, her kid, potentially her reproductive system, how unhealthy it can be after a long term, and signs to look out for, including teeth, sex drive, and all of a sudden we were like, wait a minute. We ended up going to a bachelor party with my friends, and they were all drinking and cooking out, and we only ate fruits and vegetables. And after the party, the soon-to-be groom called me up and was like, Daniel, you know, I used to look up to you. Like, all the girls liked you. You were like strong and big and like that alpha male type. And I mean, I'm kind of using my own words to describe what he was saying. And he was like, your teeth, dude, like, there's something wrong with your teeth. You kind of just don't have that anymore. And I'm a little concerned about your diet. And all of a sudden I had this guy come to me. We were listening to this girl, Lupa. We got our blood work.
And you know
freaking no testosterone.
I remember when I had a big day. Basically, I was feeling like this, was awesome. I had found the life that I want to live. Until one day, I was driving in the car, and I felt like I couldn't hold my piss. I had to go piss.
I remember that.
And I was driving like a long distance, and I was like, whoa, I need to go piss right now. And I couldn't even hold it till I got to the next exit. I pissed on myself. And it was not even intentionally. And this is embarrassing for me to say, but it's important that you know it. And that's when I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
I thought he might have been becoming diabetic.
Yeah, I think they kind of shook up something inside me and Daniel because all of a sudden our brother is peeing on himself.
Man, I don't like this. I don't think...
Another really significant day that stands out to me is the first Thanksgiving that we had with our family when we were raw vegans. And at this point, this is when I was personally very judgmental towards anyone who ate cooked food, who ate meat, who ate bread, or anything. And so watch out for that. If you're starting any new diet, you can find yourself becoming very judgmental of other people who eat what you might consider unhealthier than you.
And as somebody said before, when you start using the word only to describe your diet, there's a problem. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so anyway, our Thanksgiving, growing up, Thanksgiving has always been a big deal because our mom cooks all day, putting so much love into her meal. And this time we turned it down. And our grandma was, our 97-year-old grandma now was just sitting at the table, just like shaking her head at us. She was probably being pretty judgmental, but that's all right.
I don't know if it's judgmental as much as like, what have these kids gotten into? Like, this will pass.
Yeah.
The wise grandmother we have was right.
Yeah. So anyway, looking back at that kind of hurts me to see like what we did. But now it's good. It was a good learning curve.
I think a lot of times when you first get into these new lifestyles, you have to have everything become black and white because it makes it easier to distinguish what's good and what's bad for the time being. But the more you toy with these ideas, the more you'll find out the middle.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I agree with Thanksgiving and the tradition of it, but the answer is not so simple. Like, it's not like, we just start eating a raw vegan diet and everyone else just should stop eating Thanksgiving and do what we have found, interest in. It's not that easy. It's not that simple.
Yeah, we were like pushing our beliefs on our parents, which, they grew up their whole life eating one way and we just expected them to eat the way we do all of a sudden. And it probably took a little bit of the love that we had towards each other away. It was causing a lot of conflict.
And we're not even saying now, just a little disclaimer, we're not saying the raw vegan diet's awful. We actually believe that. I mean, believe in it as a cleanse, I think. I think we all believe in it as a cleanse. And for some people, we think it actually works better than others. That would be all true for us, right?
Yeah.
We're not anti-vegan.
No.
Necessarily. Maybe a little more anti-vegan and anti-vegetarian. But regardless of all of that, let's get back to the story at hand here.
True.
All of a sudden, Nathaniel, being the courageous one again, decided he's going to eat some animal products. And what was that animal product?
I think it was either red meat or fish. I can't remember what the first.
Fish?
Yeah.
And we put a video about it. And this was the biggest change for me. This was the big change the most for me was when Nathaniel, we put it out in the public. Because we, as much as we actually gave Nathaniel a really hard time. Like, you're going to ruin we have so many vegans follow us, you're going to ruin this, Nathaniel. And we gave him a really tough time. Like, ridiculed him and just screamed at him and gave him, like, tried to convince him not to. But he did it anyways. And at that point, we're like, we're not going to lie about this. We have to tell everyone what we're doing. Because our number one thing is, as you know, is to have raw honesty. So we let the public know Nathaniel was starting to experiment with animal products, and the backlash that we got, like all these people that were praising us and like putting us on a pedestal and making us feel like we were the saviors for raw vegans, all of a sudden we're the meanest people. I mean, not everyone, but a majority of the response we got was so mean and so hateful that I was just like, these people are crazier than the animals they're trying to protect. I mean, this is unbelievable.
And I got mean too. I remember having these really hateful conversations with him. I was like, "What? you don't want to be part of the RawBrahs anymore? Like, you're going to eat me? Okay, you eat me. And me and Dale are going to do the RawBrahs. Like, I got so hateful towards him.
And I remember I was like, and I remember that, and all of a sudden when I saw these people doing that, they like mothers, twice Nathaniel's age, like, you know, like 30-plus-year-old, 40-plus-year-old mothers, like telling Nathaniel, comments like, we had things ranging from what you could consider death threats to things like hoping disease upon you, and all these loving vegans were doing this to us, and all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, did I sound anything like that? And I became aware of this dogma that I was getting involved with and that was surrounded by me. And all of a sudden, the light, and then I was like, forget this. Timothy and I cracked a few raw eggs in our mouth because we all of a sudden were like, let's just do it. I don't want to live up to this label anymore. And then the next day, our dad convinced me to eat salmon. And then the next morning, you might have heard this story before, I woke up and I was like, what the? All of a sudden, I forgot that men get morning wood. It was wild. All of a sudden, I woke up hard as a rock after eating a piece of wild salmon the night before, and I was like, okay. And then one thing led to the next, morning wood led to more. All of a sudden I'm having more energy. All of a sudden my strength is coming back. This is the first time in my life when I've never been in my life where my body fat got lower and I got fatter. When I was eating a raw vegan diet about month 5 or month 6, that's what was happening. I was becoming chubbier and skinnier. And what that tells me, I soon found out because of the blood test, I was just deficient in testosterone.
And if you consider the ability to gain strength and muscle as any sign of health, then don't take our word for it. Just go back and look at our videos. You know, like a year. How long ago? Was it like a year ago? And look at our bodies then and now, and look at them now, and see which one you think is vegan.
Yeah, I've watched some of our old videos and am quite embarrassed of myself actually.
Me too.
You know, telling people that they should be eating 30 oranges in the morning for breakfast and go vegan, and I mean, you know.
But we leave those up there because we do think they're going to be a cleanse, and we're trying to. This whole experience for us is about humbling ourselves and learning a lot from ourselves. We're trying to become our own best teachers. I mean, we got completely immersed in the dogmatic approach of life, and now that we're out of it, we see ourselves, and it's taught us a big lesson in life. And now we can listen to other people, such as our 97-year-old grandma, or such as like Mark Sisson, who's 58 years old, who eats pretty much completely of a raw vegan diet, and who's the best looking man we've ever seen in that condition, as well as Lou Corona, who's a similar age and who looks good as well, who eats the raw vegan diet.
Yeah, and we're not claiming to even have the answers now. We're not telling you what's the best way to do things. But I think what RawBrahs has developed into is a YouTube channel that we can be honest and transparent with you as possible and show you our journey through what we're going through. And right now, this is where we're at. And who knows, maybe a year from now, we'll be vegan again. But
yeah, we would like, ideally, to just us all share our experiences with, experiment with different things so we can be the strongest humans that we can possibly be. And that's what we're kind of doing.
Yeah, and we're more like health journalists or health reporters rather than the teachers. We're learning.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope everyone, whoever says there's not learning anymore, then don't listen to them.
Yeah.
We're learning along the way and reporting what we learned to you.
I remember reading a quote, "We are all students and we are all teachers," and I think that's pretty cool. Because I believe that.
Yeah, and I mean, basically where we're at now is we combined our old retreat history with the RawBrahs. It's a lot easier to market for retreats. And in the meantime, when we were doing all that mobile marketing stuff, my college roommate Perzan, he was studying under an author named Brad Blanton with these workshops and the concept of he authored a book called Radical Honesty. That's Brad Blanton's book. And Perzan was working directly under him and doing multiple workshops around the United States, kind of trying to like find himself. And outside the United States, actually. And he came to really fall for this idea of being radically honest. And he kind of told us how it's impacted his life and how he was learning to run these play shops, we call them. And they became, for me, much more empowering than any diet has ever been. And all of a sudden, I mean, you want to see raw. Come on a RawBrahs retreat and see one of these radical honesty play shops that Perzan puts on.
Yeah.
Whoa!
It's crazy. It's just like, it blows my mind every time. And I think that's one of the reasons that we have been able to stay as close as we have as brothers. That seems like something that kind of gets people, you know, they're wondering how do these brothers be as close as they are. And I would say that being radically honest with each other and having a close relationship with God is what has allowed us to be as close as we are.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of controversy around the name Raw, which is cool. We love pushing the envelope. For anyone else who loves pushing the envelope, join our team. Speaking of joining our team, we might form a bigger team of RawBrahs, and we've actually been talking to some people that we thought were not only got us, but were us. And they are RawBrahs, like Paul Reese and Mike and Zach Romero. These guys are our friends, and we've met so many people along this journey that have been so inspirational and motivational that we're just trying to give that back to everyone that's viewing our channel, which is getting a lot of momentum too. And we thank you for viewing this. If you want to like the video, subscribe to our channel, share the video, or whatever you want to do with us and help us out. We would help us help you and help us help everyone.
Were you just trying to wrap it up right there?
No, I'm just this whole thing is just one big scatter
I mean,
plot.
I'm like thinking to myself how much stuff we missed out on. And like even like the last 2 years of our lives have been so crazy. Ever since we started RawBrahs, has probably, people ask me, you know, like, oh, so where did you grow up? And I say, oh, I grew up in Georgia. But actually, where I probably did the most growing up was the last 2 years with this whole journey of RawBrahs.
We've traveled all over the place too. The road has been a good place for where I've grown up, ranging from like Western Europe to the Hawaiian Islands to the Caribbean Islands to Central America to South America to freaking Canada to almost every United State. We've been trying to learn as much as we can. We've kind of looked at life as just the same way we used to look at our jobs, that we still do look at our jobs, trying to get paid to do things we pay to do. Now we look at, we've had a few people, inspirational people along the way in books, such as like Malcolm Gladwell's Blink. It's a pretty simple book that I recommend that kind of gets you to make your decision thinking using your intuition rather than over and analyzing. So all of a sudden I was able to make life decisions real quickly and just move on and experience them. And then also with Tim Ferriss, the 4-Hour Workweek, kind of introduced us to this idea of life hacking and getting the most out of the least amount of input. And that could go into exercise, food, fun, life.
Or The Wisdom of Insecurity, which for me has been the most impactful book by Alan Watts.
And then just to think that all these inspirational people have thoughts that resonate with our thoughts, they're like reaffirming our beliefs, and look what they're doing and look what we're doing. It's like there might be something super powerful behind this, including Nathaniel mentioned God, the Bible. That's our stone right there. That's our rock.
Hold on, I think we should maybe start wrapping this up a little bit. What do you guys think about saying, what are we up to right now? Like, what are we doing right now?
Well, did we finish where I was at right now? Are we good?
I don't know, what do you
Does
want?
anyone else have anything to say about what we're doing?
What do you mean?
It's already so long, we're just going to put the whole interview up.
Oh, okay, so you want to continue?
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything else, do y'all have anything to say what I was building on? Yeah, I mean, you kind of interrupted my flow there, brother.
Alright.
Brother Timothy.
Well,
Sorry, I was getting a little impatient.
Something I was thinking of, Daniel's touched on it, and I think that the mentality that we have of not being strictly teachers, you know, like our way is the way, has been developed around has been created through us traveling all over the world. Because seeing everyone succeeding, people succeeding in totally different ways has allowed us to realize that there is not just one way to eat or one way to exercise. People are doing it all different kind of ways, and we experiment with those ways, and we let you guys know what we think is best.
Yeah, we kind of think at this point in our lives, that was so well said, the best wisdom we've gained is the experimental wisdom. So I'd rather just regurgitating something someone else said or that I read from a book, because I guarantee whatever they said I could find just as persuasive on the other side of that coin. So instead of trying to battle that out, just do it ourselves. And we've kind of learned also that how much variety is the spice of life and how much fun these experiments can be. And I mean, instead of not only health reporters, but I kind of think of ourselves at least, health rebels. All of a sudden, this kid's drinking, at one point he thought milk was poisonous, and now he's drinking, how much freaking milk do you drink? About almost a gallon, or 5 gallons a week, 6 gallons a week. So, and you've noticed some of your biggest gains from that. Like
and at one point I almost swore to myself that I was never going to drink milk again because I thought it caused prostate cancer and all kind of other things.
And that was because you were just sticking on that one persuasive argument, where on the other side, the Weston A price will convince you the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And then it depends, and then you have to start doing your own research to find the best quality of that milk product. Or for Timothy and I, we've kind of become coffee and beer connoisseurs, and we're not promoting drinking massive amounts of coffee or beer. We're not trying to say beer is even necessarily good for you, but there might be something behind it. I was just watching this documentary the other day, The Happy, and there was a lady there was 107 years old, sharp as a tack, interviewing her. And she was talking about how important sleep is and how much she sleeps and how every night she drank sake to put herself to sleep. And I was thinking, that's hilarious, because I can kind of resonate with that. I don't drink sake until I fall asleep, but I do prefer like two quality beers a night and some coffee during the day, and not just any coffee. These are all kind of things you can look at all our videos. We've done hundreds of videos on multiple subjects, but it became more of a health rebel type of thing. Like, wow, so instead of me ridiculing this coffee drinker, how unhealthy this person is, maybe I should look at it from a more objective lens and be like, actually, this guy's 95 years old and he's super sharp and he's been drinking coffee all his life. Maybe I should listen to what he's saying other than being like, coffee's bad, coffee's bad, coffee's bad.
Yeah, when we were raw vegan, I remember looking at my grandma. She was like 96 at the time, and I was thinking to myself, she eats meat and drinks coffee every day. Imagine how much longer and how much healthier she could be if she would have not done that. But now I'm thinking, well, maybe that's the secret. Maybe her eating one chicken wing a day and a cup of coffee is why she's living so long. But, you know, I'm not convinced of that either. But it's...
I remember hearing the saying, the best day, a man has two best days in his life. First day is when he buys his boat, and the second best day is when he sells his boat. And I can kind of relate that to raw veganism.
I think it might be the opposite way. Right?
What?
The second best day is when he bought his boat. The best day is when he sold his boat.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I can kind of relate that to going raw vegan completely. Because one of the best days is when I discovered eating raw vegan completely. And then probably the better day when I stopped eating raw vegan.
I think it's a healthy analogy to think about, and we just do notice with the one thing I can say about the raw vegan diet, or a few things I can say about the raw vegan diet, are people that get caught up with it, with that dogmatic approach, the one-way road, this is it, it's my way or the highway, and they do it long-term. Sometimes instead of cleansing, they're actually cleansing their health away. And I actually think I've learned something about, I've been doing some study on my own, and research on my own, and through my own experience, that it might not be the healthiest idea to eat, especially during your puberty years, if you plan on reproducing in the future, to eat a long-term vegan diet during those years especially. That's all I'll say about that. We can talk more about that in another video. Maybe people can send us questions that we could potentially answer in a future video on our Facebook or our website. Man, there's just so much to talk about as a RawBrahs.
What are we up to right now? Like, what are we doing right now?
Okay.
I like that question.
Do you have an answer?
I do, yeah.
Okay, go for it.
It's currently... You know, I'm just really enjoying the RawBrahs retreats. This is like one of the things that have impacted my life the greatest. My whole life is the second RawBrahs retreat, really, when it finally clicked for me. I'm enjoying those. I'm really enjoying my physical progression and sharing my tips and shortcuts with everybody. I think physical conditioning is so medicinal, and it can teach you so much about everything. I'm really enjoying growing and sharing with my loved ones, my brothers and my family, and also pursuing a relationship with God, and not a conventional sense, actually. I've grown up in church my whole life, but now I'm definitely adventuring out to a less conventional approach with a relationship with God.
Yeah, and for me, I'm right on there with Timothy. I also like, one thing that's really resonated with me and stuck with me for a while is like the 20-80 rule. It's more of an economical principle. When you put 20% of your inputs, give you 80% of your outputs. So instead of looking at that from a business aspect only, I look at that as a life aspect. Like, what are the things that I'm doing that are giving me the most out of life? And one of those is physical fitness. It's my relationships with my brothers, my family, my friends, and my girlfriend. My relationship with God, and then also a lot of that stuff has to do with learning and loving. I just feel like those are the two most important things I can do here, is to love, to make sure I'm loving and learning. So I focus on those instead of doing all those the other 80% of stuff that gives me 20%. Hopefully you're following me here. It's kind of mixed up, a little confusing. I focus in on that solid 20% that I get the most out of, and then try to increase that amount. And really, I like the life hacking principles, and I love the radical honesty. I love this idea of like toying with the idea of letting whatever come out, because it's taught me recently that the thoughts and my words, what I say, are just a window to my thoughts, which is based on imagination, whereas my actions are in a window to my intentions. Actions and attention are my windows to my intention, and that's what's actually what matters. And like we learned in church today, the guy, Andy Stanley, was talking about how application is everything. It doesn't matter, whatever you think or whatever you listen to, it doesn't matter compared to what you do.
And before you get started though, when I spoke about physical condition as something I'm interested in right now, I'm talking about, once again, a very unconventional approach to conditioning yourself. Like when you get knocked down, I want it to be very easy to get back up. That's both physically speaking and metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, a lot of people think we just go around shaming our chest and it's all about aesthetics, but I think more that's just the icing, that's just like a cherry on top for us. I think we're all very fascinated by the idea of functionality and having fun. And I want to be available to do whatever is thrown my way. I don't ever want to be limited by my physical abilities. So I'm trying to be the most balanced, the strongest, the one I can handle my body weight the most, the best I can be. So whenever an opportunity is thrown my way, I'll be able to fully participate. And that's what life is about. Again, I want to squeeze the most out of life.
Yeah, when I'm 100 years old, I want to be in the indigenous squat position, chopping up weeds for my pet rabbit. But as for myself, every day I constantly examine myself from a holistic perspective, whether it's my friendships, my family life, my relationship with God, my relationship with myself, physically. I examine myself and I'm like, how can I improve myself in each one of those areas? You know, I'm just trying to make my life as balanced as possible. So that's every day I'm just trying to progress in each one of those areas. And, you know, being a 20-year-old kid, it's easy to be caught up with things like, you know, getting in a relationship, constantly looking at girls all the time. But I'm trying to take this time that I'm living with my family right now. I live at home with my family, which I love. And I realize I'm not always going to have that. Sure, I might be married one day in the future, but while I'm at home with my family, I want to be able to develop the best relationship possible with them and really, really grab this moment and appreciate what I have with them right now. Because I know that relationship will come in the future. So that's also been a big part of my life, other than just having a full, holistic improvement every day.
Yeah, if you're not growing, you're dying, and I think Nathaniel brings up a good subject, and me, about dying. I think we've all kind of learned to look at life and live life in the context of death, because that's the elephant in the room. If there's any elephant in the room that it seems like people don't touch on a daily basis, is the idea that the only thing I can guarantee you out of this whole video is that you're going to die. And I'm going to die, and he's going to die, and we're all going to die. So why don't you start looking at life through that lens? Because then all those things that you're scared of or that you're those uncomfortable will turn into fun comfortable. Because all of a sudden, the thing to appreciate, the only thing that we know that we're alive here is our sensations, that this is a sensory experience of life. So instead of being scared, you can be excited. You can start losing your mind and coming to your senses and being like, and we can maybe use a simple, palatable example that next time you say you're a single man and you have a hard time approaching women because it's so scary, think about dying. And then go up to that girl and just be like, whoa, my heart's beating so fast. My heart is because I'm alive. That's me alive. And Timothy has that little pinky finger thing. That can be inspirational enough. Yeah. We are alive. The air, oxygen goes through your nose and you breathe out carbon dioxide. Can you believe that? It's a miracle.
And speaking of death, I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to say this because it's just a new idea that's come to my mind, is that something as scary as death. I'm terrified to die, you know, but if you look at death as something that it's what gives meaning to life. It's if without death, life would be meaningless. I mean, it might have meaning, but it's what gives value to our life, is that we all know we're going to die someday. And so, something as scary as that, if you can carry that over to every other part of your life, knowing that everything has a reason, then I think you can live a much more peaceful life.
Yeah, and there's a scene in Troy, actually, when Brad Pitt is talking about the gods versus the mortals, and he's talking about how envious the gods are of us mortals, because any day could be our last. How exciting is that? That's the spice of life as well. Yeah. Variety is the key to success. Variety is the spice of life, and knowing you're going to die and knowing that and living in that context is the key to life. And then you can focus on the things that matter. For me, it's going to be my relationship with God, because what happens after death is that we all believe different things, but that's what's important to me, is my relationship with Jesus and knowing that I'm going to be with Him in eternity with the ones that I love, that hopefully have the same love in Jesus with their heart. And then also, at the end of your deathbed, regardless of religious beliefs and all that, no one's going to be asking for their money, no one's going to want where their car is, no one's going to want their house or their whatever it is. What they're going to want is the ones they love by their bedside. So focus on that and make it the best relationships you can by being the best you can be, regardless of whatever lifestyle approach you take.
And I'll tell you something, it wasn't until about a year ago at one of our retreats where the light bulb just went on for me that I felt like for the first time in my life, began to understand what being alive actually is. And I don't have time to talk too much about that, but we were talking about what we're interested in right now, and understanding what being alive really means is something that I'm very interested in right now.
And I'm just trying to think before we wrap this up, is that one of the more common things also is that people that ask us questions about, they want to know who we are and where we came from and all that, but they also, I feel like a lot of times people we receive hate online, And you guys, our fans and our supporters and our friends, take it harder than we do. You have to kind of realize, I think we've dealt with it so much that we've dealt with it firsthand, the people that really hate on us the worst are the ones that usually come back and ask for our advice and need our help. And then just take my advice for it when I tell you that when someone goes out of their way, they go out of their way to take their own time of their day to give someone else bad energy or try to steal your joy, there's a reason they're doing that, and it's usually a sad secret. It's something sad they haven't dealt with for themselves. So just be empathetic with them, sympathetic, and realize that they're going through a rough time and you could be a light to their darkness. You can help them out and just keep shining that light. Don't let them steal your joy.
Yes, that's true.
And that is yours for the keeping.
One last thing I wanted to say is that also being in the public eye, YouTube celebrities or whatever you want to call us, people are always looking to us for their answers. And something I've begun to learn is that we don't have your answers. We might have the tools and we might be able to guide you into the right direction, but you have your answers. Whether it's you're trying to get the best diet for your body or becoming a better relationship with your mom, you can be your own teacher. And it's easy to look to others for all your answers, and it would be a good marketing strategy for us to tell you that, to make you believe that we have the answers that you're looking for. It'd be a good way for us to have get your money. But it
would also be good for us to niche in on one specific thing, like us just doing pull-ups. We could just show you that all day alone. But there's different. We're not here only for our success at all.
Yeah, we're just here to help guide you to your answers that you have within.
And hopefully for our success too. It's kind of like an altruistic way of helping yourself. And we kind of think in order to fill other people's glasses, yours has to be overflowing. So we're not going to help people by draining ourselves. This is a mutual relationship. And I'm just super excited about it, really. I think something big's about to happen for the RawBrahs, so stay strapped in for the ride. And when we keep leaving, we're just checking to see the cameras on. We would hate to be recording an hour footage and lose it. But hopefully if you made it through this long, leave us a comment below. Ask us your next question. We're actually, if you want some of our help or advice, we don't have time to go asking questions all day, but we have been doing some Skype consultations or phone consultations. So email us at rawbrahs@gmail.com or check out our website. This is a good time to plug our website. If anyone's watching this long, they'll probably be interested.
Yeah.
What's the deal with the website? Who can break it down real quick?
I got something else to say.
Okay, go for that and on the website.
So I was just gonna say real quick, like, what can we offer you? Like, why would I even want to stay in touch with the RawBrahs and up to date with what they're doing? And I would like to tell you, maybe, just like Nathaniel said, I think we can help you, help guide you, tap into your full potential, and help you understand that you do have the answers to all your questions. And
intuitive wisdom.
Yeah, we can help you tap into that. What else can we offer people?
I mean, inspiration and motivation for your transformation. We've said it before, but we're trying to be the best we can be, and maybe if you can live vicariously through our eyes and then take the step to do what we're doing. Because I think most of the stuff that we do, our number one thing is we're not trying to prescribe you a certain approach, but watch how we're tackling life head on, and maybe you can start doing the same. That's what we hope, and tell us your stories.
And just to be even more specific, we have a lot of experience, and we are really good at both physical condition. We can help you pursue your physical goals.
Fitness dreams.
Nutritionally, we have a lot of experience with food, so if you're looking for some nutrition advice, it's definitely something that we can help you.
And I think we've picked up even an intuitive wisdom on the nutritional thing. We do think there's different ways for different people to eat, but somehow I think I've tapped into, maybe from meeting all these different people in different body types, different metabolic types, and different personality types, kind of a good way to guide them on which way to experiment with eating.
An hour?
Maybe that might have been an hour. Our friend Christy and remember we took a road trip with her from Washington to Canada, and she was eating a raw vegan diet and it seemed like it's struggling with it. We kind of try to get her more on a whole foods, less dogmatic approach, and more of and she had the body type that I thought would be rocked by CrossFit. I don't think CrossFit's right for everyone, but she, for some reason, I did, and she's taken off. So congratulations to you, and give me my headphones.
And in a spiritual direction too. We like to, when talking to other people about God or spirituality, we like to share from personal experience, not just what we've read or what's been passed down, but what we've experienced personally. And we love sharing those things, and we like to hear what you've experienced.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're at a point in your life where you're just not having that much fun. Maybe it's not that exciting. Well, I think once again that we can help guide you towards your most exciting life ever, and really understand what it means to be fully alive.
I personally, that's one of my favorite subjects, is helping people becoming the most fully alive they can be by practicing authentic communication and radical honesty, and little tricks to do that better. And that is mind-bending, mind-losing, senses gaining.
Yeah.
But for the website, I was saying about building the website, we have monetarily, we're trying to figure out a way to monetize the RawBrahs and make it more financially lucrative to us, so we can make this a sustainable business in the future and now. So we've created this website, rawbrahs.com, and basically there's 2 different membership options. There's one where you can sign up to see all our videos, and what we're doing, we've been putting up some our most valuable footage exclusively for website members, and it's just $4.99 per month for the first month, and then a month after that it's $9.99. And you can cancel anytime, so just if you just want to take a look at it and see if it's worth your time and then cancel, that's fine.
$4.99 as in $5.
Yeah, so as much as your Starbucks, and then the next one, instead of going to the movies once a month, you can have the RawBrahs movies all month. And then the next one ends in January. This is, as of now, we're thinking it's going to end in January. This is a big one. It's a RawBrahs retreat season pass and monthly face-to-face Skype consultations, where it's $149 for the first month and $199 the following month. And that gives you access to all the retreats in 2013, which we've never done this before, but we figure is like starting a company, we'll try to do something big, promotional. And that's big.
And we realize that the retreats are so freaking awesome. We want as many people to experience them as possible.
And to make that season pass worth it right off the bat, that means in March we're having 3 retreats. March 15th, the weekend in Florida, and probably in the Orlando area, the next weekend in Austin, Texas, and the next weekend in Southern California, probably San Diego. And you can look at our previous video about that for the details of that and emails, but just make sure you sign up before the end of January.
That's like a few more days. I think today's the 27th.
Yeah, and that'll give you basically access to those 3 retreats for $450. And you can cancel after the month of March, and that means you, instead of paying, I think the regular cost for the weekend retreats are probably going to be $750. So that means instead of paying $750 or $2250 for 3 retreats, you're paying $450 for 3 retreats. We haven't ever done a deal that well. That cheap, actually. That's the best price I think we've ever done on a retreat, other than our free retreat, which is the first one. But that was nothing compared to where we're at now. These retreats have been woo! Well, I hope you got something out of that.
We may not have your answers, but we can no. We may not have your answers, but we can guide you to them.
Yes, I like that. I think I came up with a new one today. Yeah, comment below, like the video, Facebook, all those call to actions. I'm doing them, guys. All our mobile media experts out there, we're doing this call to action.
Yeah, and once again, I just want to emphasize that we really appreciate you guys for watching this video and letting us share our experiences with you. And we really do hope to meet you one day. The people that we have met that have watched our videos have been amazing, and we're really good friends with a lot of them now. So, we're not just putting up videos and just not paying attention. We are interacting with people, we're meeting people that watch our videos, and we're becoming really good friends with them.
And if you made it to the end of this video, really comment, because I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I just want to know how many people actually make it to this end of the video, because we might do more like this. Or this is just a waste of our time.
No, it wasn't a waste of time. I learned some stuff about all of us.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Alright, we love you. Peace, peace, peace.